As of the filming of this video, the Medicare Trust Fund goes bust in 2027 and the Social Security Trust Fund goes bust in 2032. That means that absent any dramatic moves on the part of Congress, recipients will receive across-the-board cuts in benefits they'll be receiving. Take a listen to the warning recently issued by Michael A. Peterson, CEO of the Peter G. Peterson Foundation. Quote, "The writing on the wall couldn't be any more clear. Social Security and Medicare remain on a dangerously unsustainable path. Unfortunately, instead of working to strengthen these essential programs, lawmakers have their heads buried in the sand while the trust fund depletion grows closer each year. We have known for decades that Social Security and Medicare are at risk, yet have avoided the wide range of available solutions. It's irresponsible to risk the massive and sudden cuts to these vital programs that would come with continued inaction. As high deficits continue and interest costs head towards $3 billion per day, it's never been more important for lawmakers to stabilize these critical programs and ensure that our budget reflects our nation's commitments and priorities." So all this said, will lawmakers be able to come together between now and 2027 in the case of Medicare and now in 2032 in the case of Social Security to shore these programs up? If not, why not? Well, recently, economist Peter Schiff was interviewed on the Jordan Peterson podcast and explained in a more articulate way than perhaps anyone I've ever heard how we got to our current position and why it will be extremely difficult to fix these programs between now and their respective days of reckoning. Let's take a listen.
All politicians, unfortunately, and this is a fatal flaw in democracy, is that politicians first and foremost care about themselves and their own political career and their own reelection. That's what they do for a living. They are career politicians. And so, like anybody else, they're concerned about perpetuating their career. And most people who are in politics, they really enjoy it. I mean, they like all the perks that come with it. You get a lot of respect if you're United States. You're a congressman, you're a senator. It's a career that a lot of people would aspire to. And once you get there, once you get to Washington, and I'm sure this is true in every country in Europe and all around the world, that you like it, right? You like the lifestyle, you like the prestige that comes with being a government official. So you want to stay there, right? Well, how do you stay in office? Well, you got to keep getting elected. In the United States, we get elections every 2 years, right? So politicians are very concerned about, the polls, and they're constantly got their finger in the air, seeing where the winds are blowing, and they don't want to say anything or do anything that might jeopardize their reelection. And of course, one of the most important things that you need to get reelected is you need a lot of money. You need to spend money on advertising, on television, which is expensive. And so you tend to cater to donors, whether it's a corporation or a union, anyone that can provide a lot of money. You need to do things that are in their interest. And so what is usually sacrificed by these politicians is the national interest. Doing what's right for the country is secondary to doing what's right for themselves. And also, in order to be successful as a politician, you have to be a really good liar. And that's probably why a lot of lawyers go into politics, because lawyers, they're paid to lie. I mean, you have to argue your client's case, even if you know they're wrong, right? And you have to put on a defense or whatever it is. And so lawyers are generally pretty good liars, and so they become politicians. Because if you're honest and you tell the truth, you're not going to have a career in politics. You're just not going to, even if you manage to get elected telling the truth, you're not going to stay in office telling the truth. So you got to lie.
So let me see if I can recapitulate what Peter Schiff says about politicians and how they've managed to get our country to its current crisis. First, politicians tend to care only about themselves, and their first and foremost priority is to get reelected. Second, politicians enjoy what they do. They like the lifestyle, the prestige, and the perks that go along with being a politician. All this galvanizes them in their mission to get reelected at any cost. Third, you stay in office by continuing to get elected, and you can't get reelected if you say or do anything that might jeopardize your reelection. Okay, so what are the types of things you could say as a politician that might jeopardize your ability to get reelected? How about, we need to double your taxes to keep Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid solvent, or we need to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid by half? to keep our country solvent. Or we need to do some combination of the first two to save our country. This is not the type of messaging that polls well with constituents. In fact, it's the perfect recipe to getting primaried by your own political party. So what you end up getting is an entire generation of politicians that use carefully crafted messaging when it comes to addressing the 800-pound gorilla in the room, our nation's entitlement programs. To give you an example of what I'm talking about, take a listen to the interview that Steve Kroft of 60 Minutes did with Kent Conrad, the chairman of the Senate Budget Committee back in 2007. The first question Steve Kroft asks is in response to then Comptroller General David Walker's testimony before Congress about the fiscal trajectory of the country.
What do you think about David Walker and what he's doing?
I think David Walker is providing an enormous public service.
Do you agree with his figures and his projections?
I do. You know, I mean, we could always question the precise nature of this projection or that projection, but that misses the point. The larger story that he is telling is exactly correct.
Are most people in Washington aware of how bad it is?
Yes. They know in large measure here, Republicans and Democrats, that we are on a course that doesn't add up.
Why doesn't somebody do something about it?
Because it's always easier not to. Because it's always easier to defer, to kick the can down the road, to avoid making choices. You know, you get in trouble in politics when you make choices.
Do you think taxes ought to be raised?
I believe, first of all, we need more revenue, we need to be tough on spending, and we need to reform the entitlement programs. We need to do all of it.
You think there's a consensus for that?
No. I don't.
So Senator Conrad starts off great by acknowledging that there are massive fiscal shortfalls when it comes to the long-term outlook of the nation's entitlement programs. But then when Steve Kroft asked him if taxes needed to go up, what did he say? We need more revenue. Unfortunately, this is the type of messaging we see from politicians all the time, and it explains how we've gotten into our current predicament. Politicians refuse to accurately characterize our nation's problems and the real-world solutions that could fix them because the minute they do so, they decrease the likelihood they'll get reelected. When will a politician stand before the nation and say we need to either double taxes, reduce spending by half, or some combination of the two, or we could go broke as a nation? Given what we've learned from Peter Schiff in the first part of this video, I would venture to say that won't be happening anytime soon. And that spells trouble for the long-term fiscal viability of our country. Folks, in the next 10 years, I'm looking to put 100,000 Americans on the road to the 0% tax bracket. If you'd like some help getting on the road to a tax-free retirement, be sure to check out my tax-free toolkit. You can download it for free at taxfreetoolkit.com. If you're a financial professional and want to learn how to become a certified Power Zero advisor, head over to powerzero.com and opt into my free 3-part video series. By the way, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them into the comment section below. I respond to every single one of them personally. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video. This is David McKnight. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.